Call of Duty is the greatest gaming franchise of all time. Well, that's not what I think, but I'm sure someone out there does, and who am I to tell them no? Gaming is subjective. That's the beauty of it. Sometimes there will be a really popular game that you just despise, and sometimes there will be a game that everyone says sucks, but for whatever reason, you love it. To answer the question of what is the best gaming franchise of all time, I couldn't tell you because everybody has a different answer. But in this video, I want to take a look at some of the franchises that will come up a lot for that debate. The Legend of Zelda will probably be a lot of people's top choice, and for good reason. It's not just one of gaming's most popular series, but also one of the highest quality ones for 40 years now. Because of it being around so long, it's had to reinvent itself on numerous occasions. Not only has it succeeded every time, but it impacts the industry so much that you see traces of Zelda in so many major titles. I think of Ocarina of Time making the leap to 3D and revolutionizing what an adventure game could be. I think of how Breath of the Wild has influenced tons of open world designs that have come after it. Games like Elden Ring or the more modern Assassin's Creed titles, for example. The fact that it's not just hanging around but still actively shaping what games look like is a testament to its longevity. It has so many titles, and pretty much all of them range from excellent to revolutionary in some cases. It's got the quantity, but also the quality. The Elder Scrolls is basically gaming's sleeping giant, and honestly, it's been sleeping for a damn long time, but when it returns, it's going to be a major event, no doubt about it. I think that there's almost been some kind of revisionist history recently about the Elder Scrolls, that they've never been that great or that they're overrated. Probably because Bethesda has gotten a lot of flack in recent years, rightfully so. But it doesn't change the fact that the series has absolutely been one of the most influential ones ever. It really takes a certain level of depth and design where you can just fully sink yourself into a game and live in another universe. This series might just do it the best out of any. When a game series disappears for 15 plus years, it's usually a death sentence. Elder Scrolls is one of the few exceptions, because its worlds feel that special. You can play Morrowind or Oblivion, which are 20 plus years old now, and they feel as magical as they always did. Skyrim is one of the most played single player games still, despite its age. A lot of people have lost faith in Bethesda to make a legendary RPG again, but I'll remain cautiously optimistic because every Elder Scrolls has been amazing. You can't possibly have a discussion about gaming royalty and not mention Super Mario. In fact, there probably is no gaming as we know it at all without Mario and the impact it's had. Mario came at a time when gaming was in a pretty tough spot. Consoles weren't doing so well, gaming itself had lost popularity, and then all of a sudden here comes this game about a pair of plumber brothers to save the day. Mario himself is the most popular character to ever come out of a video game, and his popularity turned gaming from this kind of gimmick into an actual entertainment force. The games have also usually been fantastic, they've defined the platformer genre, and releases today are still highly anticipated. Like Zelda, it's had to endure multiple generations of gaming and persisted every single time. Final Fantasy sits in a bit of a different lane from the rest of these. We've already talked about franchises having to reinvent themselves, and when it comes to that, Final Fantasy is on a completely different level. Every game is so unique. Different stories, different characters, settings, gameplay mechanics, you name it. Even from game to game, it might be like a completely different type of genre. I mean, you have MMOs, spin-offs that completely change the formula. The fact that it manages to switch things up so often but maintain its relevance says so much about it. It was the first JRPG series to actually break into the West, mostly through Final Fantasy VII. And now, funnily enough, so many years after the original Final Fantasy VII, you have the same game through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, introducing a lot of new fans to the series and JRPGs as a whole. And over the years, we've seen tons of gameplay elements from Final Fantasy show up in a lot of other games. some more modern ones, for example, or Expedition 33 or Octopath Traveler, which are amazing in their own right. So it's been awesome to see the influence of Final Fantasy for decades now. Halo might have peaked as high as any game series ever has. The 2000s was the decade of Halo, no contest, and I really don't know if any other decade has been as clear-cut as that. The culture surrounding Halo is really hard to articulate if you weren't around to see it. I wasn't even the biggest Halo fan in the world, but my older brother loved Halo 3 in particular, and let me tell you, I am not sure that any online gaming experience has captured the same feeling ever since. Xbox managed to become the top console in the market for a while simply because of the impact Halo had. One franchise making a gaming console so relevant by itself is really hard to do, especially in modern gaming. Of course, the series has fallen off a lot in recent years. Mismanagement, underwhelming releases, kind of just overall lack of focus. There's a lot of factors, and it is unfortunate to see how things have gone for Halo in the last 15 years or so. Maybe one day it'll return to the throne. I actually would love to see a proper Halo resurgence, but we're just going to have to keep our fingers crossed. Resident Evil is one of the few franchises I would say has been popular for every generation of gamer. In the 90s, it was already defining what horror games were. In the 2000s, Resident Evil 4 especially was so monumental for third-person shooters. And today still, the series is as relevant as ever when you have games like Village or Requiem, which have been great, on top of the remakes, which have introduced a lot of new fans to the series. I don't think it's a stretch at all to say that no other horror series has had as much impact as Resident Evil has had. And for a franchise as old as it is, it's kind of surprising to say that it may still have its best days ahead of it. If they keep producing games like they have been recently, then Resident Evil is going to be around for a long time. If I had to pick one game for the modern king of gaming, it would be Grand Theft Auto. Which is weird to say because it's had exactly one release over a near 2-decade window. But we all know it's coming. GTA 6 is probably going to shatter every record ever when it comes to launch night. You don't get that big by accident. Love 'em or hate 'em, Rockstar always delivers when it comes to single-player experiences. And it's not like the series has always been this popular. The first Grand Theft Auto was actually very niche, so it's had to work its way up entry by entry to get to where it's at today. Every time a new GTA releases, it's become such a big event because over and over again, they push the boundaries of gaming. So when GTA 6 comes out, we're just going to have to see if they've done it again. So those are just a few examples of some of the more iconic franchises in gaming. I missed a ton because, well, there's a lot of really good games. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you personally would pick as number one. And I'll see you all in the next video.